As a follow-up to our recent video ranking the 15 openers England have used since the retirement of Andrew Strauss, we now take a look into the future to see if we can identify the batters that could stake a claim as we move towards the English summer. First, though, we'll take a quick look at the up and down winter and why we now have such a huge decision to make at the top of the batting card. The post-Cook era started with a historic 3-0 win in Sri Lanka. Now, whilst the strength of the host was not what it once was, the victory on Sri Lankan soil was an incredible achievement. We saw the incumbent and under pressure opener Keaton Jennings be joined at the top of the order by Surrey run machine Rory Burns. Jennings did very well in spin-friendly Sri Lanka, hitting 233 runs at 46.6, including 146 not out. Not bad. Whilst Burns hit 155 runs at an average of 25.83 with a high score of 59. Promising stuff from them both. As we moved into 2019, England flew out to the West Indies and everything seemed to, fall apart. Poor performances up and down the order and bizarre and chaotic selections led to the overall good feeling of Sri Lanka giving way to genuine concerns with this team as we look towards the now fast approaching Ashes series. Jennings and Burns continued for one test before Denley stepped in to replace Jennings, although he was handed back his place in the third test. Rory Burns has probably done just about enough to retain his place, but he must start the summer well to guarantee his selection. As for Jennings, 62 runs in his 2 tests must mean that this is now the end of Keaton Jennings as a test match player. So we now ask the big question, who is next? Let's now take a look at the short list of players we think have the opportunity to start the summer well, score runs and put themselves at the centre of the conversation to face down the new ball and more than likely partner Rory Burns for this England test side. Let's get us started then. Nick Gubbins, Middlesex. He is one of my favourites for the job. Classy left-hander who has been a prolific run scorer. Injuries over the last year or so slowed his progress, but he has the ability and the temperament to make the step up to Test cricket. In 2016, he amassed 1,409 runs at an average of 61.26 to help Middlesex win the county championship. The following summer, the combination of a dip in form and injury once again curtailed his run at an England selection, but at the beginning of 2018, with 2 centuries in the North v South series, suggested that it would have been a big summer for Gubbins if not for these setbacks. More of an accumulator of runs and an explosive opener, but his ability in the white ball game has certainly helped him develop into an extremely well-rounded player. Now 25, Gubbins will be hoping for an injury-free run into the English summer so he can build an emphatic case to grab one of those opening spots by the time the Aussies arrive. We've been looking for Andrew Strauss's replacement since his retirement. Perhaps his fellow ex-Radley College student will be the man to finally take his place at the top of the order for England. Up next is friend of the podcast, Daniel BellDrummond of Kent. This is a frustrating one for me. It feels like years that I've been sat aboard, patiently waiting for the Daniel BellDrummond train to leave the station. I still believe that this guy has what it takes to fulfil that huge potential he showed in the early part of his career and make the step up into the international arena. In our opinion, he has the temperament and he most definitely has the ability. There is just one thing missing. Runs. BellDrummond, like Gubbins, is now 25 and he is entering the peak of his career. If he starts the summer with some big runs and scores consistently, then the right-hander has to be a serious part of the conversation. Speaking of conversations, you need to go and check out our recent chat with Daniel where he speaks openly and honestly about his career and international aspirations. We're still on board the BellDrummond train and firmly believe he can score the runs to give himself the chance to make his England Test debut in the not too distant future. Next, we have Ben Duckett. Now, it wasn't that long ago, just October 2016, when Ben Duckett made his England Test debut. He played 2 Test matches in Bangladesh and 2 in India. Not the easiest places for the then 22-year-old to make a name for himself. Not everyone can be Alistair Cook when making a debut on the subcontinent. I'm sure he'll be the first to admit he did not grab his chance, and he may also admit that his chance probably came a little too soon. He is now 24 and he has shown signs that he's maturing as a player. The recent move from a struggling Northamptonshire to a rebuilding but still competing Nottinghamshire was huge for him and gives him the chance and the motivation to kick on. The talent is clearly there. He's another who undoubtedly has the ability and is still in the thoughts of the England setup as he's been part of the England lines this winter, which has gone pretty well for him as an opener. A naturally aggressive but not reckless player. He scores runs quickly and if he starts the summer well for Notts, builds on his winter and scores plenty of runs, then it would not be any surprise to anyone to see him given a second chance with England. Another friend of the podcast, David Hussey, he thinks so that's good enough for us. Next man up, Jason Roy, a favourite shout for what I would describe as the KP fan base. Sorry, Rob, and no offence intended. Roy is, as we know, an incredibly talented striker of the ball and proven at international level in the white ball arena. Talent and temperament aside, the biggest issue with the England top order for too long now has been the inability to build an innings, play the match situation and build a foundation. In ODIs, England's strength is a belief and ability to just keep going regardless of wickets falling. This has produced some incredible results and provided consistently good winning performances. This is Test cricket, and my concern will be that Jason Roy is an all-or-nothing attacking player in white ball cricket. Can he adapt his game? Big question. This England side needs stability at the top of the order and a batsman that can provide a foundation for the talent throughout the middle order to build on. All this aside, Roy is a serious player, and if he's given the chance and did succeed, we are talking David Warner levels of upside in the Test arena. We've seen the England selectors put stock in white ball runs in the past, and with the World Cup coming up, if Roy scores big, he could quickly jump to the top of the list. James Vince. Now, this is a name that is starting to rumble around again. Now, Vince was given the chance in 2016 with England and played at number 3. An extremely elegant right-handed bat. He has a solid first-class record and should be an international cricketer. Why it's not worked out for him so far is a little bit of a mystery. Technically, there are clearly issues, as he seems to be a massive fan of nicking off. But that can't be the only issue. Perhaps he lacks the temperament needed in Test cricket. If he has not succeeded at number 3, why do we think he would be able to do the job opening? I'm not a fan of this option at all, but would not be totally against seeing him down at number 5 if a place was to become available in amongst that relatively settled middle order. Apart from his obvious ability, what does go in his favour is that the England setup clearly like Vince, and so it would be no surprise if they did give him another chance. Whether they should and whether he could do the job as an opener are totally different conversations. Next man, Will Rhodes of Warwickshire. Now, he is the youngest, just turning 24, and most definitely the least experienced of the candidates. Rhodes is still learning his craft with Warwickshire, but he has caught the eye of many regular county cricket viewers since he made his debut for Yorkshire back in 2014. Originally a seam bowling all-rounder, he made the move to opener while still with Yorkshire before making the switch to Edgbaston in 2018. Now, the move already looks to be a good one. Almost 1,000 runs in the county championship jettisoned Rhodes into the mix, and he should be looking at the uncertainty at the top of the order with England as a huge opportunity for him. Now, unlike most of the other options we've looked at, Rhodes also offers a useful option with the ball. He's taken 26 first-class wickets and average of 38.88. Now, absolutely an outsider at this stage, but don't sleep on this talented young player who could well be playing for England sooner rather than later. Last but by no means least, Joe Denley. Now, assuming he's selected, you would expect Denley to be in the Test side, but at the number 3 spot. However, there is a chance England could promote Denley back to opening in order to clear the way for the likes of a Joe Clark, a Dan Lawrence, a James Hildreth, and Ian Bell, or even a Joe Root at number 3. Denley, the 2018 PCA Players Player of the Year and the winner of the MVP award, his England call-up was well and truly reserved. He's perfectly suited to the key role of number 3 with his experience of opening and facing the new ball alongside his ability as a player who likes to play his shots. Now, he's by no means a certainty with England, but his last innings of 6-9 in St Lucia made him look like an international calibre player. It would be our guess that he does start the Ashes at number 3, but there is always a chance he is given the responsibility at the top of the order if they believe the best way to strengthen is with a new number 3 or 4 rather than with a new opener. So there's some of the options that we think have a chance, but the big question now is who will get the call? It's a huge summer of cricket and the Ashes is like no other series. There are no absolute locks with these candidates, but there is plenty of talent and plenty of upside in English cricket. When the likes of Trescothick and Vaughan were given their chances, neither had particularly high first-class averages, so perhaps someone just needs to be given a chance. Make sure you comment below and let us know who you think will be opening the batting with Rory Burns when England take on Australia in the first test of this summer's Ashes series. Subscribe to never miss a video from The Leading Edge and check out our brand new global cricket website, www.leadingedgecricket.com, for all the latest articles from our writers from all around the world.